So this is a unit on factoring. And what I'm about to show you are the different strategies on how to factor polynomials depending on the number of terms. So the first strategy is what we call greatest common factor, and is also known as factoring by grouping. The previous example is actually using what we call the GCF or greatest common factor strategy, since we took out 5 from each of the terms. So the greatest common factor is what we call the largest factor that's common to all terms of a polynomial. To factor out the GCF, we use the distributive property, but in reverse. Okay? So here's an example. You are asked to factor 3x squared a plus b minus 6x times a plus b. So notice how a plus b is a common factor in both of the terms. The two terms being, this is considered as one term, and this is considered another term. We know that because they're being separated by this minus symbol. So aside from a plus b, another common factor that you can find there are 3 and x. So we take out 3x times a plus b from both of the terms. Okay? So taking out a 3x here, I'm going to be left with x. Okay? Minus, taking out a 3x minus a 3x a plus b, I'm going to be left with 2. So that is already in its factored form. Now, any 4-term polynomial can be factored by grouping. Okay? Some 4-term polynomials are possible to be factored, some are not possible. This example, what we're going to do is similar to what we did for example 1. But we need to figure out first how we're going to group the terms. Okay? So step 1, identify and factor out the GCF from all 4 terms. Is there a GCF? Okay? So the GCF from all of them is 10. So taking that out results to that expression. Now see that broken line or dashed line between the two terms, that shows us how we're going to group the terms together. So we're grouping 6xa minus 3xb together, and negative 8ya plus 4yb together, so that we can take out a GCF. Now factor out the GCF from the first pair of terms and the second pair of terms. So this is going to be 10. Okay, let me outline that. What I can take out from 6xa minus 3xb is 3x, parentheses, I'm left with 2x minus b, and then I have the grouping right there. And then for the next grouping, I can take out a negative 4y, and I'll be left with 2a minus b. Oh, this should be 2a right here. Okay, notice that they both have the same binomial factor right there. So that is the goal, for us to be able to have that common binomial factor, so that we can use distributive property and factor that out. So this then turns into 10, and then I'm taking out the 2a minus b, and then I'm going to be left with 3x minus 4y. And now we have factored the polynomial.